Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Hello. I wasn't saying hello to you, Anna. I was saying hello to the followers. You can talk when I let you know, all right?
Sorry,
Hello. Honestly, my guests are so poorly behaved. I can tell I'm interviewing you already. Hello and welcome to another episode of my lockdown podcast, which is called A Cuppa with Anna. And today it is exactly that. It's a cuppa with Anna and Anna. I'm joined by Anna Jones today. Anna, you're a teacher, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And you have multiple hobbies.
Yes, I do. Yes.
But first of all, I mean, how are you getting on? Because obviously it's been massive changes for you as a teacher.
Yeah, it's been quite tricky actually, sort of adjusting to everything and getting the kids to adjust as well. Some of them have just taken it like a duck to water and they do their work and then they'll email you and then we can have a chat with them, or they'll email you and say, "Oh, miss, I'm really stuck on something, can you explain it?" And you can have a dialogue and it's absolutely fine. And then other kids get panicky and they don't know what they're doing and they can't do it and they email you in a massive, great big panic. And other kids you don't hear about from at all, so you've got no idea whether they're doing anything or not. So it's really quite tricky actually to find out what actually is happening in, with different kids and their situations. And so it's weird. It is, and it's quite irritating as well.
Because you've had to learn a whole new way of teaching, haven't you, with sort of videos and various things.
That's right. Yeah. So I try and, because I'm a languages teacher, so it's really important that the kids can still hear the language. It's no good just sending them a PowerPoint to read or that kind of thing. They need to actually hear it. And there are loads and loads of online platforms, which is brilliant, and I do use them. But sometimes you have to actually tell them what you want to do. So I've been doing all these videos and explaining everything, so using my PowerPoints and then talking over the top and get it and saying, "Repeat after me," and all this sort of business. So, and I'm assuming they're doing that, obviously. Whether they are or not, I've no idea, because it's really important that they keep speaking, because that's what I'm really worried about, is that they'll just not do that, because that's such a big part of being able to speak a different language, is being able to pronounce the words and having the confidence to say them. Yeah. So it's quite tricky actually.
Because you speak 4 different languages, don't you?
Yes, including English.
Yeah. So what are the 3 languages that you've learned?
So, well, in order, so English obviously, then German is my second language, then French, and then Spanish, in that order, I would say. Yeah.
And how did you find learning languages? Did you find it quite easy? I mean, did you mainly learn them all when you were a child?
Yes, just at school, just like everybody else would. Yeah, and I don't know. I just always found it quite straightforward. I got it. That's half the problem. Is that I looked to the rule, and when a teacher was explaining something, how something worked and how something was put together, then I got it. So that then when you practice it, you know what the rule is and you understand it. And I think it just depends on how your brain works, really, is whether you understand that sequence or not. Because German is definitely my strongest language. It's so logical and there are so many rules in it. But once you learn the rules and you know the rules, it all fits together like a jigsaw puzzle and you can see and it works. Whereas French, I would say I'm less strong in, and Spanish as well. For Spanish, I've got an A level in Spanish, so I haven't done it to as high a level as the other 2. But French is so much more, well, like the French, really. They're very romantic and airy-fairy, and the language is exactly the same. And so sometimes there are all these exceptions, and you don't know why it's happening or what the purpose of it is. And I found that more confusing. So, yeah. And obviously living in the country, that helps a lot.
Yeah, because you're quite fond of Germany itself, aren't you?
Yeah, I love Germany. It's brilliant. It's a lovely country, and the people are so nice. And I always try and when I'm teaching German, to try and break down all these prejudices that English people have against the Germans, because that's still an issue, especially now with Brexit. It's been a real issue since the whole Brexit talks started, and it's got increasingly so with the topic of immigration as well. And then there's all this prejudice then come out again about Nazis and all this sort of business, which isn't current German culture whatsoever. They are the most progressive culture, really, that I've come across. They've been forerunners in green technology and all of that kind of thing, which people don't really know about. And so, yeah, I just really love the German culture. It's very similar to ours as well, which helps. And the people are so nice and friendly. They'll do anything for you. And the countryside's lovely. There's mountains, there's coastline, there's cities, there's everything. Yeah.
You're making me feel a bit jealous now, because I had a holiday booked to go to Germany, and I would have flown home yesterday.
Oh no, what a shame.
I know, I was going to go for 10 days, but it wasn't meant to be. This is the second time. Pardon?
Where were you going to go?
Berlin.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
See,
Berlin.
I'm in the middle of, yeah, go on.
And sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, well, I'm in the middle of organising a trip, school trip to Berlin, which is, we were meant to go in July. So that's become a little bit of a nightmare, obviously, what with the travel restrictions. So, so I've been liaising with the travel company and parents, because at the moment we can't get our money back because we haven't paid the full deposit. We haven't paid the full amount yet. So our money is not safeguarded at the moment.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get the parents to pay the full amount by the deadline for the tour company. So then at least our money is safeguarded in case we can't go.
Yeah.
Because at the moment we're just in limbo, really.
Yeah,
at the minute.
Totally. Yeah. But is Berlin lovely though? It's
fascinating. It's such a vibrant, fascinating city, because of course you've got all the history there as well. And then you've got beautiful architecture in the east. You've got a massive lake with a sort of paddle steamery thing that you can go on, which then goes into the Grunewald, which is a big forest on the edge of Berlin. There's so much to see and do, so much culture, theatre, cinema, all of that kind of thing. It's a real centre for everything.
Yeah. Well, when I finally get there, I might get to experience these things. The other place I was going was Hamburg.
Oh, yes.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I have been there, yes.
I hear that's really lovely as well.
It's a lovely city. Yeah, it's quite interesting, because when I stayed there, I went up after my year abroad, and a friend of mine, he had just got a job in Hamburg, and I went up there to visit him, and his flat was off the Reeperbahn, which is the red light district. It's a very, very famous street where all the prostitutes are. And his flat, he lived just up a side street off the Reeperbahn. So that was quite interesting.
Yeah. I've never been to a red light zone before.
Have you not?
No, I haven't. No. I really do. Yeah. I'll obviously see it at some point in the future. Oh, so obviously massively passionate about languages and Germany, but you also have loads of different hobbies as well, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, which when I first met you, I was kind of fascinated about how many different things that you got involved with, and you seem to want to do things at a really good level as well. You don't just want to have a go, you want to be like really good at it. So tell me a little bit about some of those things.
Well, I tap dance. I've been doing that for, probably about 10 years now, actually. Quite a long time. My friend and I were the founding members of the adult tap group in Exeter. And I've always been really, really musical. So I'm really quite good at rhythms and picking up rhythms and keeping in time. So tap dancing was really quite good for me in that sense, because I found it quite straightforward to coordinate myself and keep in time. And it's really, really fun and really, really good exercise as well. It's great. It's lovely. And I've met loads of lovely women as well along the way in our little tap group. So that's been really good. I've always played instruments. So I learnt piano when I was young, and I sang as well. And so I write my own songs and play piano. And now I've embraced the whole recording situation, especially now. It's been quite useful. So I've been recording my songs, and I'm up on SoundCloud doing all of that. Then my daughter took up the drums.
Yeah, I see the lovely drum kit in the background there.
Drum kit. And so then she started having lessons, and I thought, oh, this is good. So on my day off, I would be sitting at the drum kit and having to play around. So then I started having drum lessons. So I've got quite good at that.
Yeah. Do you feel like quite a lot of the inspiration comes from your children sometimes?
Yeah, having children is really, really tricky, really difficult, and you've got to juggle so many things, but it's so rewarding. I just love having them, and now they're getting older. They're such good company, and you can have really good conversations with them. And I'm really proud of how they've sort of not run away from things. I think that's really, really important, because being a teacher, and I see in school that some kids, you can see their potential, but it's themselves, it's their mental state that's holding them back, because they think they can't do it. And I've always tried to teach my children that actually if you want something, you can, and you can try, and there's no reason why you can't do it. And they've overcome lots of obstacles like that. My daughter especially, she's very, very shy. She wouldn't speak to her teacher when she first started school, so they didn't think that she could read or anything, or hardly speak. So I had to record her on a little handheld recording machine, and I took it into her reception teacher, and I said, yes, she does speak, look, she can read. And so she was it was cripplingly shy when she was first started school. But now she's busier than me. She does ballet, she does tap, she does netball, she does hockey. She went to Spain on her own with the school doing an exchange, and so she had to stay in someone else's house, someone she'd never met before, and they all spoke Spanish. They didn't speak English, so she had to try and get on with that. And so the change in her, she's just so determined now, because I think because she's been encouraged to say, well, actually, no, you can do it if you believe in it. Yeah. If you believe you can, you can. And they're really inspirational, actually. I'm really proud.
Oh, where do you think, I mean, obviously you've got a similar mindset to what you've been teaching them. Where do you think your mindset comes from of, I can do this? Is it one of your parents, or do you remember who kind of...
Yeah, it must be, I think, because although my parents, my mother especially, she was so protective, and she wouldn't let me go out. I wasn't even allowed to go on cycle my bike on the road on my own, unless my father came with me, is that kind of thing. So yeah. She was really protective. But then they never stopped me from doing things that I wanted to do. And I think maybe moving away from home, going to college, going to university, and then ultimately having to spend a year abroad, that was the making of me, really. And going to Germany on my own, not knowing anybody, obviously being able to speak the language competently.
What age did you go to Germany?
19.
Yeah.
It was in my second year of university, so I was 19, and I went to work in a school. So I was a foreign language assistant in the school for a year. So I just moved there, had a room in some person's house I'd never met before, had to go and work there, had to find my own way, and I'd never earned money before, I never managed my affairs before, so it was a real, a real shock.
Yeah, so the year almost set you up then.
Yeah, that's right. But I didn't let it beat me. I fought against it, and I met some lovely people, and then it was brilliant. I didn't want to come home at the end, but the first few months were it was awful. I hated it. It was dreadful, because I just didn't know anybody. Yeah. I was really, really lonely. But I think because I was determined to do it, I made myself do it. And then from then on, I've just embraced everything.
Yeah, you are though. You're a very determined woman.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Oh,
you mentioned your mum then, and I know you lost your mum not so long ago, didn't you?
I did last year.
Yeah, and you wrote a song, didn't you, recently?
I did. Yes, take me a while, but I've managed to write a song for her. Yes.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about the song.
Well, she loved travelling to Norway with my dad, and Dad has always said the place where she was happiest, because they weren't really social animals, and they just loved nature, and they went to Norway quite a few times to see the Northern Lights, and they just went up, the two of them, and because it's just so vast and barren and hardly anybody goes there, it's just them on their own, and she loved it. And so she always said that she wanted to go back and see them again, because they did manage to see them once, but it wasn't that brilliant. And so she said she always wanted. Hello. On the laptop. Got it. I haven't got it. Sorry. I haven't got it.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's there.
Yeah. So they wanted the laptop. I wanted it earlier. I didn't have it.
Honestly,
Anyway.
did you not tell her this is a live recording? Honestly.
Sorry, I do apologise. Okay. Yeah. So she, you know, in the final weeks, we talked quite a lot about that, and so she said, "Oh, I will never go and see the Northern Lights again," and so that sort of stayed with me, really. And I was thinking about it, and so the main theme of the song, I suppose, is that she is now dancing in the Northern Lights, basically. And the midnight sun, that was the other thing that she loved, absolutely loved, just walking all night long in the sunshine. She found that fascinating, and it was beautiful with the light going over the mountains and the fjords of Norway. She just loved it. So that's basically that. Even though she's gone, her spirit lives on, I suppose. That's the theme of the song.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful song. So for the listeners, where can they find your music? And I highly recommend checking Anna's music out, because it's very magical.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm on SoundCloud. That's mainly the main platform that I use. I do have a page on Facebook, so Anna Jones Music. So I'm on SoundCloud, Anna Jones Music. So if you go on SoundCloud and search for that, it will be on there, or on Facebook, Anna Jones Music on Facebook. And then there are links on there to my SoundCloud page where you'll find all my music. Yes.
Yeah. All right, it's time for the question pot now, where I get to ask you some random questions and put you on the spot.
Thank you.
My favourite part. I love doing this. Oh, tell us something that you would love to achieve. You've already achieved loads anyway, but
I don't know. What would I love to achieve? Gosh. That's a tricky one, isn't it? Isn't that a tricky one? Getting better at recording my songs.
okay.
There you go.
All right.
It's not very interesting. I know, because I'm quite happy with what I've done so far.
Yeah.
I think I might collapse if I do any more.
Yeah. You've done a lot. Tell us about a standout moment from yesterday.
From yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, golly. From yesterday. Well, actually, talking about recording, I've recently recorded another song, a relatively recent song, and I've never really done any sort of, I suppose, barbershop-y type thing where you do boom, boom, boom in the background. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, and I was trying to think, because the song sounded really bare, and I thought, well, what can I do? I don't want lots of instruments. I don't want lots of percussion or anything like that. So I've done some bom bom boms in the background, and actually it sounds quite good. I'm really quite pleased with it. I know that's really boring, isn't it?
No.
And my new interface, I'm so excited about my new interface that I bought for my Christmas present. I gifted myself a new sound interface, recording interface, and it's brilliant. It's the first time that I've heard it properly when I've put some mastering, some effects on it.
Uh-huh.
It sounds so clear. The sound is really clear, so I'm really pleased with that. And
Okay.
I fed that through my stereo yesterday for the first time, and annoyed my family. And then my husband complained because all he could hear at night was the song going round and round in his head, and he couldn't sleep. Anyway, I was happy with it.
I need to hear this. Okay, if you could be any animal for the day, what animal would you be?
Animal.
Yeah.
Well, when I was little, I always wanted to be a cat.
Okay.
And then I got a bit older and I wanted to be a bird. A cat bird.
Okay.
A cat, because I didn't overly like school very much. And on my cat, I had a lovely, lovely cat growing up. He was brilliant. And all he would do, really, he would just get up. If he didn't like his breakfast, he'd turn his nose up it and look at you and say, well, what's that then? And make you give him something that he really, really liked. And when I was a kid, I had to eat everything on my plate. And I was so envious of that because I thought, oh my God, he can eat what he wants. And I've got to eat all my horrible vegetables. That's not fair. And then of course, I had to go off to school. And he could just laze about in the house all day doing whatever he pleased. Sleeping, messing around, doing whatever. He could go out at night. I was never allowed to go out at night. He was allowed to go out, mess around outside in the dark. I could never do that. So I always wanted to be my cat.
I love how you say that you didn't like school as a child, but you've ended up being a teacher.
I know, it's a bit ironic, isn't it? I know. But then
You don't
I'm
mind
really
being the teacher, though.
I'm really sympathetic to all the you know the squares, you know, all the normal, sensible, quiet children, and then I don't like all the sassy ones, because you can spot them. You can spot who the horrible ones are and who the nice, quiet ones are. So yeah, I look after them. You see. That's what it is.
Tell us about something about yourself that really annoys you.
I'm really loud. And my laugh is really loud, and my family are always complaining, oh my God, Mum, you're laughing so loud. Why do you have to be so loud? So yeah.
So you just turn the volume up a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. To annoy them. Being annoying as well, probably.
Tell us about a special object you have and why it's special.
A special object. It can be anything, can it?
Yeah.
When I was little, it was my panda bear called Chi. So that was my special object, and I still got him upstairs. I used to go to sleep with him every night. So he was my special object, and I suppose he is still sort of my special object because he's still upstairs. But now, special object. Ooh, my new recording interface. There you go.
Of course. Oh, okay, slightly different kind of question now. Have you ever volunteered? And if so, what was it you did?
Have I ever volunteered? What, with a charity or something like that?
Any kind of volunteering, yeah.
Yeah, I used to volunteer quite a lot with Save the Children Fund because my mum was involved with that. So we did quite a lot of charity work with Save the Children Fund. So yeah, things like manning stalls or collecting money in the street, doing jumble sales, that kind of thing. I volunteered all the time at doing stuff in school, various different activities at school that they want you to do, and I go, oh yeah, I'll do that type of thing. And then think, oh, God, I wish I was at home having my tea instead of being here. No, I don't ever say that, obviously.
Okay, best piece of advice you've ever been given?
I think probably treat others like you would be wanting to treat yourself. I always think that if you are kind and respectful to others, regardless of how they're treating you, I think generally people will respond to that, and they'll be kind and respectful and considerate or what have you in response. So I think that is the main thing. And yeah, to help people, really. That's basically the main thing I think that I've been told. And be true to yourself. but if you can do things and believe, really.
Mhm.
I think that's really important. So certainly from a mental health point of view,
Yeah.
definitely.
Wise words, Anna. All right, now I've asked you for a book recommendation and film recommendations. So,
Yeah.
obviously a lot of people have got a lot more time on their hands now. So what would you recommend?
Well, I've been recently reading a lot of Stephen King, and I love Stephen King. He's such a page turner, and sometimes I can't sleep because the story's still going around in my head. But I think generally, so for entertainment point of view, Stephen King, definitely. But the book, when I was thinking about this, the story that really has stuck in my mind is called Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I don't know if you've heard of that before. But it's a really it's really it's very sad and poignant in a lot of ways, but at the ending it's a really happy, heartwarming ending, and it basically confirms the warmth and the love that humans can bring to each other, because it's about a young woman who has had an awful childhood, very, very traumatic childhood, and in order to survive and be able to continue living, she sort of blocked it all out from her mind, and she is quite a social misfit. She doesn't fit in, she can't talk to others, she finds it very difficult to form any sort of meaningful relationships, until one of her colleagues starts speaking to her and starts being really kind to her. And as the book progresses, he allows her to, feel safe, really, and come to terms with what has happened in her past. And it's such a well-written book. It's amazing. It's such an amazing book. I would wholeheartedly recommend it.
Okay.
And it's really easy to read as well, so which
Get
helps.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
And what film?
Oh, film. That was hard, actually, really hard. I've seen so many really, really good films, but we've been doing, since the lockdown, we've been sitting down as a family and choosing. So my husband and I have been choosing films that we used to watch when we were children, but to educate our children, really. And we recently watched Rain Man again. Do you know that one? Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman and
Oh yes, I have seen it. I've got it. Yeah. Yes.
yeah, Dustin Hoffman plays an autistic man,
Yeah.
and he's the brother of Tom Cruise, who doesn't know that he exists, and it's about their relationship, and that's such a good film. We were watching it. It was a really heartwarming film because it breaks down all sorts of prejudices about people with disabilities, because Dustin Hoffman plays an autistic person, and then his relationship with his brother, who is this arrogant, selfish person, and they're just shoved together. But by the end of the film, they formed this amazing relationship, and it's such a good film, really good. It's an amazing film, and we were sat there and thought, oh goodness, I've forgotten how good that was. So Rain Man.
Yeah, I might watch that again tonight. I completely forgot it was in my DVD
Yeah.
set. So thanks for reminding us of that one. All right, Anna. Lastly, do you have a challenge for the listeners?
Well,
Do you have this thing?
well, this actually, because you asked me about what I was proud of, or an object, wasn't it? My special object,
Yes.
didn't you, earlier? And I thought, well, I can't bring this out too soon.
You were saving it to the end.
It's going to spoil it. Absolutely, this is the finale.
Come on.
So I've been quite creative recently since this lockdown. I'm not very artistic in that sense. I'm hopeless at drawing. I'm hopeless at creating sculptures and all that sort of business. But my daughter was given this. I won't show it too soon. I won't spoil. Yeah, I'll bring it out and just like, oh my God, it's amazing. But my daughter was given a model making kit for Christmas, and she started it at Christmas, and it was really, really intricate, and so she just put it to one side. And then since this lockdown, we thought actually that's a really good opportunity to get it out again and let's let's have a look at it and get our teeth into it. And we really, really did. So for about 2.5 weeks solid, we worked on this model, and it's a model of a little
come on,
kitchen.
let's see it.
And it's been lovely because we've had such good time together doing it, and it's been really fun laughing at each other's inadequacies at trying to make all these tiny little things. It's been really funny, and it's been great. And so, but this is what I'm really proud of, and it's a really good creative thing as well. It's really creative, but in a really structured way, and it's produced really good results. So I have to stress, I'm hopeless at art, but this is what I've made. There we are. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, it's so gorgeous.
And it's got a little light. I've even wired it with an electric light. If I can turn it on, let's see. There we are. Can you see that? It's got a light in it and everything. It was really lovely thing to make. And it looks really good as well. Because even these things like down here, that the plants and the flower pot, we made everything. Everything was just flat packed, or we had to cut it out to make the template. We had to paint everything, and all these little the oven gloves and the pots and pans, they're all made from scratch. Everything is made from scratch. It's
brilliant.
Look at that.
So if people want to take this on as their challenge, where can they get this?
Well, I got it on Amazon, actually. I don't know if I can am I able to say Amazon? There are other reputable retailers there, everybody, but this particular one I got from Amazon, and they're not cheap. That's the only thing, because we got it for a present. But we got the bug, and I did wait a week, and then I thought, oh yes, I've got to get another one. So I bought another one. It's arriving next Wednesday, apparently. I checked this morning. We're getting the living room to go with the kitchen. And that was £25. So they are quite expensive.
But worth it by the looks of it.
It was our lockdown treat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's given you
Robo Time is the make. It's a Chinese company, I think.
Sorry, what did you say the make is?
Robo Time. ROBO Time.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's loads of different models you can do.
Yeah.
And this is Jason's kitchen.
Beautiful.
Yeah, lovely Jason. He has a very crowded kitchen. I don't know anybody who's got such a cluttered kitchen, but anyway, there you go.
Anna, thank you so much for talking to me. We've covered a lot of different subjects. It's been really interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for asking me. Yes, I appreciate you being asked. I'm being asked.
And just one more reminder to check Anna's music out on SoundCloud.
Please. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, lovely. That would be great.
Bye.
Okay.